Ndị be anyị asị m ka ụbọchị nketa mara na anyị mma, asị m ka nke onye chikwelu ya zelu. Dịka o si dị, ihe a bụ Eastern News 24 bụ ebe anyị si wee na-ewetara unu ya bụ nnukwu ozi dị oke mkpa gbasata maka ihe na-eme na obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, ana gbasata maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ọ bụ na ya bụ ụbọchị izi gị ị na-agafete n'iru akwụkwọ afọ chanel anyị, kaba alụ ka sọbskraibụ antọnụ onyo notifikeshọn. Maka gịnị? Anyị na-etinyekwanụ update daily gbasata maka ihe na-eme n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya, agbasata maka nwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ. Dịka o si dị, ya wetara unu n'iru akwụkwọ bụ ife anyị na-akpọkwa evening tea ka anyị ji maka ya, ka anyị ji mara ya. Anyị na-akpọ ya evening tea. Ife a bụ Biafran Prime Minister in exile were ife were ịgwa ụmụ Igbo. Unu ga-esi ya bụ ife n'ụdị nke gị, ị ga-esi ya bụ ife ịkaba alụ kwuo efe ichelu gbasata maka ihe ndị a niile Biafran Prime Minister kwuru n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taa anyị na-akpọ evening tea. Ị ga-esi drop your own comment. All right, over to you, sir.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, dear friends all over the world, listeners, and ladies and gentlemen of the press. I greet all of you this evening from my location. I have come to this space this evening on emergency briefing as we approach the declaration of the restoration of independent state of Biafra. Coming up on the 2nd of December, there is a need for Biafra to be updated at every point in time. My fellow Biafrans, under my administration, I told you people that the next phase is to take Biafra to the global stage. Today, we have achieved that. I am here to inform you that the Biafra discussion is now on the highest level of international stage, and of course, is being discussed globally. The recent reportage by highly respected institution in the United States is an evidence of what is to come. The recent report by the ORB from the United Kingdom Institute also is an evidence of the feat the Biafra government has achieved within 2 years. I am telling you that everything happening now is happening just within 2 years. My fellow Biafrans, a lot of you are supporting the struggle either negatively or positively, and a lot of people don't actually know what freedom fighting is all about, other than supporting what we are doing on social media, and many of you who are supporting are not even sure. So it has become imperative that as we are making this feat, preparing ourselves for the historic day in Finland, we have to also educate our people on exactly our roadmap to independence. My fellow Biafrans, we are declaring the restoration of independent state of Biafra. And a lot of people will ask, what does this declaration meant to achieve? The declaration, just like every other declaration of independence of any country, unilaterally city state. Since the birth of the Declaration of Independence by the United States in 1776, with the U.S. Declaration of Independence, these have had at least two interrelated objectives, just like every other country. And this objective remain the delegitimization of the existing host state, today Nigeria, that rules over the ceding territory over Biafra, and the legitimization of the new emergent state, Biafra, which is ceding from existing one, Nigeria. I just want to be putting it in elementary understandard or elementary standard level for everybody, both educated and uneducated, to understand where we are going and what we are doing and exactly what you are supporting. And this particular declaration involves a lot of things. Involve listening of grievances against the ceding state, the state that is declaring the independence, injustice that are meted against them, harms suffered by the population of this emergent state of Biafra. Like I said, I am here to give you the update. Biafra Republic Government in exile and the Biafra Republic Government in homeland, the de facto government, has set up a declaration committee, a declaration drafting committee that has now taken it upon themselves to start working on listening our grievances against Nigeria. It is going to be political grievances and, of course, other grievances, about 3 different types of grievances that we have against Nigeria. This is the world standard of the independent declaration. So the Biafra government have constituted a committee called the Declaration Drafting Committee, which are currently working on listening our grievances against Nigeria, the injustices that Nigeria has meted against us, the harms we have suffered under Nigeria, and of course, many of these grievances will be well detailed. And it is going to come like a book, because it is going to be history that everybody will read. why we are doing what we are doing today. So, my fellow Biafrans, this has been the standard way of delegitimizing the existing state, today Nigeria, and legitimizing the new state, which is going to be Biafra. I want to draw your attention or your memory to the 1776 U.S. Declaration. The new state is presented as the only remedy. Only remedy. Today, Biafra will present this new state of Biafra as the only remedy to the listed grievances that the Declaration Drafting Committee are going to list in a book. Because, like I said, our grievances are endless. So it is going to come in a book form. However, in the process of dissolution of a country like USSR and, of course, the former Yugoslavia from 1990 onward, a number of federal and sub-federal units abandoned the objective of delegitimizing the old state. Like I said, our problems are peculiar. Nigeria is a very complex country, and we have found a solution how to deal and exit from Nigeria. And believe me, if you are not supporting this government, you will regret it, because we end up dragging you to freedom and then we give you condition. Now, state in their declaration or act of independence why it is difficult to establish the reason which this state did not delegitimize the existing one on their declaration. Because some of these states were no longer perceived as a functioning state, which was capable of asserting its legitimacy to rule over the ceding territory. This is apparent from the foundational constitutional charter of the Republic of Slovenia, issued at the same time as the Declaration of Independence, which in its preamble note that Slovenia no longer functions as a law-governed state capable of resolving the current problem. My fellow Biafrans, this is exactly the same thing happening between Nigeria and Biafra. Nigeria is no longer capable of resolving its current political and economic crisis. And that is one of the reasons Biafra is exiting, because Nigeria has failed to resolve its insecurity, terrorism, and all manner of political crisis, economic crisis. Nigeria have shown that they are incapacitated and they are not capable of resolving this current problem, and Biafra has a solution. Political and economic crisis. In the case of Slovenia, their Charter of 1991 preamble actually stated exactly what we are going through today, the inability of the government as at then to resolve their political and economic crisis. Moreover, this federation had been ruled by their respective communist parties. These parties and their leaders were held accountable for harms and injustices committed to the population of city state. And in the Biafra and Nigeria, we will make sure that we hold Nigeria people accountable for the injustices and the harms they have committed against Biafrans from the time of 1967 or even beyond that till this present day. We will hold all of them accountable, from Gowon to Obasanjo to every living Nigerian that has contributed in the genocide against our people. We are going to hold them responsible. It is not happening because there is no representative of Biafrans. There is nobody who summoned courage to represent Biafra people, speak to Nigeria in a language they will never understand until now. I have taken that responsibility. These parties and their leaders were held accountable for harms and injustices committed to the population of the city state, in the state of these Slovenians and all of that. However, by the time of the Declaration of Independence were issued, these parties has been removed from power and were effectively dissolved. In a sense, therefore, the grievances against this communist ruled state belong to the past or the present, the recent past, and were no longer relevant when city state declared their independence. In our own Nigeria against Biafra, it is going to be different, because those evil government officials that committed this crime against us are still at large today, and the government is still in power. Nigeria government is still very active, killing our people in Biafra land. So we are going to make sure that we hold them very, very responsible for all the killings you see today happening in the southeast, east, and south to south. In Okwama community, or the massacre, all of them, we are going to list all these killings and we hold them responsible. One could just argue that the whole state that would have been target of the legitimization through a list of grievances had already lost their operational legitimacy. And that's exactly the tactics that the Biafra government is applying today. We are expecting that as we are declaring the restoration of independence of Biafra, we will make sure that we reduce Nigeria to ground zero in Biafra territory through our actions from the Biafra Defense Forces. In consequence, The declaration of the independence of several federal units and later of sub-federal units, such as Kosovo, for example, of these two federal states, focus in some cases exclusively on legitimization of the new state, legitimization of their own state, because there is no need for them to delegitimize the existing state since they have already failed. This was achieved by announcing or establishing state institutions. My fellow Biafrans, the issue of Kosovo, for example, in some cases, this Kosovo focused on legitimization of the new state. And this was achieved. Kosovo achieved their own independence during their declaration, announcing or establishing state institutions that were taking over the state functions of the old state. And that's exactly, we have actually done that. Biafra government has actually established all state institutions, both in the homeland and from exile. We have actually superseded every country that have ever declared independent. We have superseded all of them. We have done what no country have actually done. We have government in the homeland, de facto government. We have created 40 United States of Biafra. We have defined our map, undisputable. We have also created the government in exile. We have already established liaison offices all over the world that will later become the embassies of Biafra. We have done, no country have ever done it in the history of freedom fighting. That is how far we have gone. And this measure is very necessary because Nigeria is a very complex country. And we needed to do something extraordinary, which we have done. And that is the reason you are seeing the attention that we are getting from DC or Washington DC, from the United States, and other part of the world, because you can't have this particular achievement of the Biafra government today and everybody is ignoring it. No, they have predicted Nigeria breakup for many years. It never happened. And after the prediction, no reasonable, very serious individual is coming up to do something. Now, they have seen that, yes, Simon Ekpa and his government is more than serious, and they can be taken very seriously. People have been watching, decision makers have been watching from the side and observing our activities for the past 1.5 years. And today, I believe they are summoning the courage to do that which is right. And what is it? To stand by the truth, by giving their voices for the independence of Biafra. That is what you see happening today. And we must applaud them. They have done the right thing. And those who are still waiting to see another crazy move from Simon Ekpa before they can give their voice, we will get them at the end of the day. My fellow Biafrans, the modus operandi and the pattern of the Biafra government today is something that Nigeria can never ever comprehend. Kosovo achieved this independence by establishing state institutions that were taking over the functions of the old state, or by announcing the new state commitment to several internationally sanctioned principles. Exactly what the Biafra government have done today. We have been announcing the new institution, establishing our ministries as a commitment to several internationally sanctioned principles, policies, and international organizations. This declaration of independence were apparently expected to legitimize the new state of Biafra in the eye of other world powers or other countries. My fellow Biafrans that are listening to me today, many of these countries that have fought for their independence and they got it by declaration have gone through many obstacles. And we are also going through many obstacles which we actually have defeated. This kind of legitimization of the new state in a declaration of independence often culminated in a request or appeal to other states and international organizations to recognize the independence of the new state. Exactly what Biafra is doing. But you know, all the approaches we've made so far, all the contacts we've made so far, we are just creating awareness. We're not expecting anybody to recognize us at this point because the declaration has not been made. It is after the declaration has been made, after the self-referendum has been counted, and will have official result, declaration will be issued. After the declaration of independence, you can now begin to call to the people that you want to recognize that you have recognized, you have declared your independence. Sorry, I'm speaking Finnish. I mistakenly speak Finnish. I'm sorry about that. You know, we have, the language is part of me. So I just speak Finnish now. So sorry about that. So it's to inform the countries that We have declared our independence through the mandate given to us by Biafrans, of which over 50 million has voted for our self-referendum. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore that. You can never ignore that. So, by this, many countries have done what we are doing today. Some of the analysis from experts will ever remember and inscribe the Biafra pattern of independence and declaration to the history book. In view of all the strategies of delegitimization and legitimization, that is something that you must understand. There are many major three important principles that I would say in the declaration of independence: the grievances declaration, the institutionalizing declaration, and the commitment declaration. These particular three principles, I would say, subgenres of the Declaration of Independence of Biafra is being worked on as I speak to you today by the Biafra Declaration Drafting Committee. And you must understand, we are 1 million steps ahead of Nigeria. That I must tell you. If you do not know today, know that we are 1 million. Before Nigeria will make any move, it is the move I have made 6 months ago. So we are very, very far. Like very, very, very far ahead of Nigeria. The prime example of this declaration can be found in the United States Declaration of Independence of 1776. And even during the Biafra Declaration of Independence in 1967, it was only few grievances that was listed. Only some grievances that were listed during the Biafra Declaration of Independence. Today, we are adopting every grievances, listing them against Nigeria state. That has never been done in the history of Biafra until now. I want people to understand, especially those illiterate who are on the side of the IPOB Nigeria. You know, the kind of confusion that we put into them is very amazing. You will see the people supporting the drug lord Nigeria Tinubu shouting, Simon Ekpa, go and die, this is that. You will see the IPOB Nigeria shouting, Simon Ekpa is working for Tinubu, is working for Nigeria government. Have you ever seen any confusion like that? Have you seen any confusion like that? Why the Afonjas are crying that I am destroying every plan of their ogas in Nigeria, within the Nigeria state? The IPOB Nigeria, they are shouting, I am working for Nigeria. Why Nigeria is crying? That is the highest confusion. They don't know what is going on because they never believe that Nigeria can be challenged. You know how they address Nigeria? The most populous country in Africa, the biggest economy in Africa, the giant of Africa, the this and that, the evil entity is going down. They never believe that Nigeria can be challenged until today. Nigeria terrorist army never believed that Biafrans can actually volunteer to, risk their life to defend others. They thought everybody loved money. They thought every Biafra want life. Everybody want to live. They never believed that people can actually sacrifice their life for others. Nigeria never believed it. But today, it is happening. Volunteers of the Biafra Defense Forces are sacrificing their life for others. And this is unimaginable to the Nigerians. They never believed that a day like this will come, where people can actually give selfless service, where people can become patriotic, where you can see people dying for what they believe in. And it is very, very surprising to the Islamic Nigeria state. I'll give you an example of this declaration, even the recent one of Donetsk Act of 2014, Luhansk Act of 2014. This declaration named violation no state committed against the sitting unit, including human rights abuses, act of genocide, discrimination, and breach of agreement justifying their call for international recognition or remedial ground. That's exactly what Biafrans we are going to do. Our own is more and worse than whatever Luhansk and Donetsk ever experienced. We have experienced appetite in Nigeria against Biafra people. We have experienced genocide. We have experienced discrimination. We are victim of all the crimes you can think of. And that is exactly what the Declaration Drafting Committee are working on. And these particular grievances that we are listing in the declaration is going to justify our declaration on the 2nd of December 2024. And again, after that, we will move a very aggressive campaign for international recognition or remedial ground. I want Biafrans to understand that you can't, what exactly foundation have you laid in the past for Biafra to come? Nothing. Are you going to just say, UN, come and give me freedom? Come on. No, without any foundation, without organizing yourself? No. The dead Buhari told you that Biafrans, if you want freedom, go and organize yourself. And people did not actually understand what he said. And he himself did not actually know when he said it. I watched him. Of course, then I was one Nigeria. I looked at this man. I laughed. I said, don't worry. The day I will join this Biafra struggle, you will know what you have said. So what else do you need to know that the Biafra people have rejected Nigeria and they are only loyal to the Biafra government? Their hope of a new beginning and new life is on the government of Biafra. So my people, after the declaration in Finland, what do you expect? What you are going to expect is that we will officially communicate our declaration to the Nigeria state, demanding the recognition and acceptance of the self-referendum. Not only that, we are not sending it to Nigeria state for them to accept. They are never going to accept, and we know that. We will also communicate the African Union, even when we don't even like them. We will also communicate ECOWAS, even when we don't like them. We will officially communicate all these institutions, seeking the approval of what we have done in exile, the history that we have done. And we will also officially communicate the United Nations through our international partners. We are not doing all these things for them to agree immediately, no, but believe me, we will release hell on Nigeria. After this December 2nd, we will release hell on Nigeria. I want you people to focus on the ORB report, where they say, after this declaration, after this self-referendum of Biafra, there is going to be two options. That Nigeria will either issue a political statement, that is when we have officially communicated Nigeria, demanding the recognition and acceptance of the Biafra self-referendum. Nigeria will either issue a political statement or ignore a political statement and use it and come militarily. We are already used to the military activities of Nigeria state for the past 3 years. We are only going to increase and escalate it. And like I said, we choose how we find this. So my fellow Biafrans, I have a lot to tell you on the update of what to expect. So that when you are discussing with people, you can defend yourself and defend the government and defend what we are doing when you have knowledge of what we are doing and what is to come. If you are in argument with all these idiots, you can be able to tell them what we are doing and what we are going to do. So I believe this small clarification and update on the declaration coming 2nd of December have put you in the right track. Immediately after this declaration, what follows next? I am repeating it again so that it will sink inside the head of even the Dundees. That one, we will write Nigeria officially, informing Nigeria of what Biafra have done, giving the result of the self-referendum to Nigeria state, demanding the recognition of Biafra as an independent state, demanding the acceptance of the self-referendum, also demand the withdrawal of every Nigerian military and institution in the Biafra territory. We are not expecting them to do that, but we're going to write them officially so that it will go into history book. 2, we will officially write the AU, ECOWAS, and all international organizations, and you will know it in days to come. We have gotten recognition from all African countries. And those who call us their friend will extend our friendship and our hand of friendship to them. Biafra is the light of Africa.
ndị be anyị daalụ nne nụ nke ukwuu ka unu si wee gbaa mbọ wee na-esoro anyị n'ife anyị na-eme n'elu akwụkwọ dị iche iche. Ọ bụ ife m chọrọ ikwu bifo ma alapụ unu ka unu tinye alụ nke unu ife uche n'elu akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ya bụ ife dịka o si ada and dịka o si akpọtụ n'elu akwụkwọ. Ọ biko wa ajụ m chọrọ ịjụ, biko ndị Igbo ọma na-ege ntị saanụ ya bụ ajụjụ. Ọ ga-edugokwu n'oge anyị yakpọ n'ụwa anyị mitin nke ịbụọ jụọ ụwa anyị nwanne anyị nwoke anọ n'ụlọ nke mkpọrọ ebe a ka ọ ya anọzi. Ọ ga-edugo oge onye ọbụla bụ onye Igbo ya pụta tinye ebe ya bụ ife ọnụ maka ya bụ ife akarigo. Nnamdi Kanu nwere ife o mere n'iru akwụkwọ. Tọsifọ ihe ọjọọ mere n'iru akwụkwọ bụ na ọ sị na ọ chọọzi ịbụ onye Naịjirịa. Tọsọ ya bụ ife ọjọọ mere. And ndị ọha eze niile ma ndị niile were na-ekwuchara ndị Igbo ọnụ fa, nobody is doing something about it. Nobody is doing anything about it. Ife a na-asụ bụ tọsọ ogologo oyibo. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu bụ the leader of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB si na mmegide a na-emegide ụmụnne ya dịrị ọzọ ya alụ mma si nye ya Biafra ka ọ na. Okay, to tell you that what that thing Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-ekwu n'eziokwu, since eji Maazị Nnamdi Kanu check the system of Nigeria till now, the system na-ebezi akwa, everything is collapsing. Always ewere ife ọ na-aghọta. Ọ sị gị the more you hold him, the more the economy destroyed. He said these things. O kwuru ya ekwu. Ọ bụrụ ife ụmụnne anyị pụta ị na-ekwu bụ ka maka eje yọọ ndị Fulani na mejọrọ ndị Fulani. Chefuo na ha bụ ụzọ wee mejọ ndị Igbo. O nwere ihe ndị Igbo mere ndị Fulani? There's nothing an Igbo man. What if Igbo man mere onye Fulani? Ndị ọha na-eze si na na-eje iyo ndị Fulani about the killings in 1914. Na-ajụ biko o nwere ihe ndị Igbo mere ndị Fulani? First from the jail wee kọnka si Hausa niile wee bata ka kọnka kwuora n'Igbo. Ofu onye pụtara bụ Maazị Nnamdi Kanu si na nke a ma mme na ndị ka ife a adịlọ achụbịa ka egbuo onye Igbo ewere nwanne ya lee. Ya bụ ife bụ ọ bụrụ ihe nji maka ya wee bịa ma ọ bụrụ na ị na-ege ọnụ m n'ife anyị na-ekwu n'iru akwụkwọ. Maazị Nnamdi Kanu stand with justice, equity and fairness. O wee ndị emebere iwu iche ọ bụla na-ajụ ya so ndị Igbo ha ọkwa ejidere ya lapụ ya akwa the same thing Maazị Nnamdi Kanu na-azụ ka ọ na-azụ. Ndị Igbo kpọọ n'owu na meeting jụọ owu na-ajụ ọgwụ nakọ ha m n'ọnụ. Daalụ dị na-ekwusi na-esore anyị. Ọ bụla nke a bụ ụbọchị izu gị na-abịa n'iru akwụkwọ esore na Morning Tea na Eastern News 24. Kabarụ ka ị subscribe and turn on your notification ka ịlapụ imisi for update dịka anyị na-drop ya n'iru akwụkwọ oge niile. Daalụnụ ụmụnne m, ọgwụ nakọ ha m n'ọnụ.